In pursuit of exploring creative outlets and perspective, join me on this journey. Wait, what was I saying? Who cares? This is Dandemonium Podcast. Welcome to the Dandemonium Podcast. This is what would be recorded as episode 44. I have a guest in the studio tonight, Senor. Welcome, Senor.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome, man. I haven't talked to you in a little while, so that's one, interesting. And then two, I've been trying to set this up for a few weeks, and it finally got down to it. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, it seems that our busy schedules have been deflecting us from actually meeting up and starting our recording and having fun with this time here.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I recently went to, I don't know what you want to talk about, really. This is very impromptu sort of thing, but I went to Austin. I went to Dallas. I went to Texas recently, so that was like a big thing. We could talk about that. That's funny, dude. I talked to some crackheads in the alley of 6th Street. You know?
Tell us all about some of that experience. It sounds like you may have had a quick, epic time. Traveling that always provides something that's epic or another.
It does. It's very, it's fun, dude. There's something about traveling, man.
Leave the Illinois. That's the most of it.
Seeing that sign, like,
welcome.
Not like, yeah, welcome to, it's not like it's, great to be in Missouri, but just the fact that you're out of Illinois.
That's true. Yep. We went to Tennessee during Christmas. That was a very impromptu visit for my mom, traveling through, South Illinois and cruising through. Got to hit up a couple states and whatnot, see some of the land features. And that was just an experience to just exit Illinois altogether. Leave the chaos of the road from...
It was a road trip?
Yeah, it was actually a road trip. We drove straight 9 hours, ended up being like 11 hours or something with stopping and going and all that. And that was just a cool experience. You could see the major difference of the roadways itself, once you leave Illinois into Indiana and continue south into Kentucky. Once you start hitting the area of Kentucky, you just see all these beautiful landscape features that you're just like, this is such a mesmerizing thing to look at.
It's just different, right?
It's different. It's you don't have this like industrial look on the road itself. So, yeah, impromptu road tripping. It's always cool. Try to get yourself on the road.
What part of so if I can ask, what part of Tennessee where did you visit?
It was near Chattanooga, about 35 minutes away.
Is it Appalachia, like east?
It's like on kind of the border area. We stayed in essentially Jasper Hills, but the city I believe is called Jasper, but where we were going was essentially the mountaintops of the very edge of the Appalachians, the Smoky Mountains, and that's where my mom lives now. Is she's on a mountaintop looking over the cliffside and towards the river. So it's pretty monumental checking out that landscaping and all the builds that they're doing over there. It's crazy of how they're building up the land and building up all the homes over there. Huge properties, small properties, whatever. They're putting it all on the mountainside.
Yeah.
For new families to live and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, are they seriously like primarily in so along that area? They're really building up the mountainside, dude. How fucking amazing would it be to live on a mountainside?
It's crazy,
dude.
It's such a nice.
It's like a dream
neighborhood. Everything's fresh. Everything is, tons of tall pines, just sky high. Taller than what you see out here. 50 feet, 75 feet.
Fuck mowing the lawn and shit, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? But you don't really have a lawn to mow. It's like a rocky fucking mountainside.
It was pretty surprising. We were there, straight up Christmas, and it was nice weather, and then boom, winter hit, like as we're pretty much on our way out, from the trip itself. full
And that was
snowstorms and all that.
within just December itself. So
It was
you
Christmas.
that was like,
We drove out there
okay.
like
And
the
then,
day before Christmas Eve. We hung out there Christmas Eve, and then we stayed the night Christmas, and then I believe the next day we were leaving. And the next day it was really when the snowstorms
that's
started
sudden of
hitting back.
changes.
Yeah.
Like,
But the weather was like 60 degrees, even though it was middle of December. So they had a pretty nice, winter over there, and all of a sudden, boom, got hit by the entire winter escapades of the snow and
yeah.
landing on the earth.
It
was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
We're kind of silly thinking like, oh yeah, let's do something today, and it was actually like Christmas.
Yeah.
So we drove out to Chattanooga, and everybody's closed up shop by like 2. It's like, well, no wonder.
Oh yeah.
But-
yeah, dude, it's a national holiday. Like people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
But that's cool.
the main reason why we went was my mom's like, oh yeah, Chattanooga's only like 20 minutes away, whatever. We're just cruising on the road, 20 minutes. Another 10 minutes, another 10 minutes. Like, this is not...
We're almost there.
Yeah, this is not close at all. This is not, like, around the neighborhood. Chattanooga's a little drive. Don't bullshit us.
Well, you can't now.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I took that drive. So
And we
you're
also
talking-
brought Marley, too. We brought our pup.
Yeah.
By the end of the
Nice.
trip, I found all sorts of dog food in the truck, like, spilt and stuff.
Yeah.
We were maxed out in the vehicle, brought all the presents for some
Was
reason.
that a good positive experience
It was,
overall?
yeah, it was
bringing
really
the-
cool. It was really cool because the most of it is we got out of the house, and we got to do something different. My mom wasn't necessarily doing anything, but at the same time, she would have made plans if we didn't make the plans to go down there, she would have just made her own plans. So
Yeah.
it was a cool visit to experience it over there. There's not that many opportunities you just straight up get to just get up and go and do something like that. Busy lives, being a parent, being a full-time worker, all that.
Right. Right. And some of those like spontaneous kind of
Impromptu.
adventures,
Spontaneous,
impromptus.
yep.
It's just like I think, in my opinion, because that's normally how I roll, because I try to run a business, I have a
Yeah.
house, I have obligations, I have bills. Like ultimately, first and foremost, I have to think of that. And then but outside of that, like I haven't gotten out other than this Texas trip in 3 years, dude.
Yeah.
The last time I actually went anywhere was Asheville, North Carolina. That was November 2019.
Wow, yeah.
And
Couple
I was
years.
like, and then the past 3 years, honestly, like flew by so fucking fast. It's
That's-
unbelievable.
I understand that.
And then again, with the business obligations and this and that, I'm like, I just have to get out. So like, that was awesome, dude.
It definitely gets tough, though. I know. As you get older and older, it gets tougher and tougher.
Yeah, you got obligations, you got pets, you got maybe little kids and shit. You got, whatever it is. But Tennessee is a place that I do want to visit.
It's
so
a-
that's
Yeah.
that's
it's
one
totally
of the
cool.
things. Like Nashville, like the two areas, Nashville and Knoxville. And we got some stories about Knoxville. Knoxville was quite... I got some stories for another time at another point in another podcast about Knoxville. But
It's its own animal, huh?
yeah, no, well, just my time there,
Yeah.
my brief time
Yeah.
there, like the one and only times that I've been there with a friend. And it was wild. Very unexpected. And anyways, we'll get into that.
Was that a road trip also?
That was a road trip,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
It was a road trip. I think road trips are the way to go.
I
There's
think so,
something
too.
about doing like 80 miles an hour. I don't know. I could tell when I'm doing 80 miles an hour, and there's something, it's like,
Cruising,
It's
yeah,
hard to
cruising hard
explain.
is definitely, but you could get caught up of cruising too hard, and you gotta slow it down a little bit.
no, but that 80 miles an hour, because you're going with traffic, some are slower, some are, but I can keep like a 78 to 82, like interstate travel, road trip, and there's something about it, like everything is chaos, right? And then when I get to 80 miles an hour, it all
Yeah.
like slows down. It's like,
It's almost like the cruise speed just cleans it up.
it's yeah, something about it.
Well,
And then just seeing new areas, that's definitely, rather than seeing the same old bullshit all the time. And then you get into, whether it's flatlands, Missouri actually had some hills, dude, going down
everything
towards
is always
Texas.
so different. Everything that, as soon as you cruise through a different state, different area, it becomes so different. It becomes a whole new world. And even we've
Even
done,
on the interstate, because you
we've
don't
done
even see
trips
that
to
much, but even on the interstate, you could see the flux, the change in the
yeah,
scenery. It's crazy.
we've done trips recently where we did Orihula and just cruising
What's
north.
that?
It's near Fremont,
Ori.
Wisconsin.
Oh, is it in
By
Wisconsin?
what's that river?
Orihula?
The I forgot
Wolf River.
the Wolf River. I was thinking Fox. I'm like, no, that's not the Fox. Yeah, the Wolf River near Fremont, Wisconsin. It's
It comes
about
off
three.
of Lake Winnebago, dude.
Lake Winnebago. It's about 3.5 hours north. But that's a cruise through, straight up hills of Wisconsin. And
Yeah.
as soon as you leave Illinois, you first breach the farmness of Illinois, like what Johnsburg looks like and all that. And then next thing you know, you're on these rolling plains
Yeah.
and you're cruising hard. Like traffic moves, like not just 80. Like you're going to be bullied into going like 90 miles per hour heading north.
Right. Right. And I'm cool with that too. Like driving faster, that's cool. I would have to say that I think Wisconsin is pretty similar to Missouri as far as the landscape.
I
Like
think
the
so
trees,
too.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say
It has
so.
like I was going through Missouri. I don't know when the last time. It's been a long time since I drove through Missouri.
I was definitely surprised when I saw, part of what Kentucky looked like, even though we just briefly went through it.
What is there? There's nothing in Kentucky.
Well, the route that you're going towards Tennessee, you have all
Maybe
these
there
really
is.
interesting cliff areas and
Yeah.
the way that's
really
carved
pretty.
out into, yeah, it's really beautiful. The trees and all that.
It's really pretty there.
Yeah.
Really? Well, and that's
It's definitely
like,
so much different than Illinois. Illinois is like blah. Like, and I cruised South Illinois recently too, and that was just like, man, this is just, yeah, it's flatlands, it's cruising, but there's nothing out here.
It used to
Yeah.
be all forest.
Yeah.
and then now it's all just like the sea of homes, and the way that like, I don't know, the way that I see it, man, I love seeing country so much more than I like seeing, like I appreciate architecture, I appreciate cities, all the work, the like massive fucking manpower
It's heavy.
that went into building cities. Like I can appreciate that, but it's not for me. Like I love nature. One of the things, just seeing whether it's hills, the fucking rocky cliffs, whether driving through
it becomes a
Wisconsin, Missouri.
you know?
And- but-
Spectacular.
But then being on a mountainside, that is the ultimate.
Oh,
Being on a goddamn mountainside where you can like see other perspective of other mountains. Maybe you got a fucking east-west sunset, massive view. That, if you got the money,
You gotta check
that
out
would
that
be the
Jasper
shit.
Hills, man. You gotta check out that Tennessee
It's all
mountaintop.
it's all money though, man.
It's money, and
expensive
we've missed
everywhere.
our window. The money keeps on getting higher and higher of
Yeah.
how to get there.
Yeah.
Luckily, my parents got it there at the right time where they could actually really make out if they sold their
That's
property right
awesome.
now. But the developers are cutting the lot sizes and increasing prices. So to get in there, you really have to have a good penny to plan it. And plus, the people that are getting in there are kind of aggressively being shoddy to their neighbors. Like they want their property, they want their house on it, and it doesn't matter how it's built. So
Wow.
it's kind of goofy of how those neighborhoods are.
Can you buy a lot? This is what I wondered. Like, and I think that different areas, especially mountainside, are going to have their own restrictions on what you can and cannot do.
They do now. They absolutely
Well,
do
of
now.
course, dude.
Yeah.
Colorado, I imagine Appalachia.
Yeah, yep.
You know, all that, dude. And they have to. There has to be some sort of like code that's like safe. But are there areas where you can just buy a lot, throw a trailer on it, and then like, you know what I mean? Like
They usually
I
have
don't
rules
know.
against all that stuff. Like, and
Not on the
people-
mountain. I'm not
the peop-
talking like on the mountainside because that's
Well, yeah, it depends on the neighborhood association in a sense. Like
Yeah.
the mountain in particular, there was an association that built it up, and once they sell all the properties out, then they exit. So then it's up to the actual neighborhood association to manage it, not just the business.
right. And they got the end all say all.
But it all depends on where you're building and where you're finding your property, because the restrictions really they rule towards who owns the land, who owns the areas. If the builder itself of, like, let's say that mountain itself, they bought all of the mountain, so they
Yeah.
own the rights to all the mountains, so they're
Right.
implementing a system of a good neighborhood, which again, once they're done building and selling out all the properties, they're exiting and letting the neighborhood take charge of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing. Anywhere you go, you could buy a property, make your own rules, whatever.
Yeah.
You could put a. At that point, it becomes like really up to the city.
Well, here's
or
the
the
question.
township or the county.
So if you had enough money to buy a nice house with like, say you had, so you say they're cutting some of the acreage down on the mountainside, selling it for more. So say you combine that, you bought 2 consecutive proproperties
That's
right
what you
next to
wanna
each other, right? So, okay, it costs you a little bit more. You build the home on one, you got extra little bit of land there, a little bit of space from your neighbors. And then, so would you do that, or would you buy a town? Say for the same amount,
Yeah,
same
right.
cost,
No, you buy
you
that
could
town.
buy a town.
Hey man, have you seen Schitt's Creek?
No, I
I
haven't
mean,
actually.
That's the principle of that town. Is years back, the guy went through this little hick town of some sort and bought the town. Like he basically bought the deed of the town itself.
There's a Danville, I think
What?
I don't think it's affordable.
No.
But you can
Danville.
name it. You know
You
what I
could end
mean?
up
If you're
renaming
like
it.
buy it, you're like, okay, this town is going through a renaming
Yeah.
process. Who objects? There's nobody else in the
Right,
crowd, so it's
crickets.
like, all right, sustained.
You can do that. I mean, once you own the property, you pretty much make the rules.
Right.
It's then now you have to follow whatever county, whatever
The state
state.
laws and then federal
basic
and all
stuff.
that. But
Those are just an overview of the rules of what they want you to
yeah,
abide by as citizenship.
yeah.
Well, that's what that's a good idea to do, and a lot of people do things randomly.
Or what about this? So your third option, so I'm going to throw a little mix into it. So the third option, 1, you got a house with a double lot property on a mountainside. 2, you got a whole town in Podunk, nowhere. You got tumbleweeds rolling down the
Yep.
street, but you're going to build it up. You got dreams.
It
you
doesn't
got a
matter
little
what
money.
you do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. And then, or number 3. Shit, what was number 3?
Oh, he
Oh,
lost.
no. Number 3 is you buy some sort of like silo bunker fucking
Oh, yeah. That's a
bugging out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And this thing has a pool. It's got some fitness. It's got different rooms. Sure, it needs a little bit of work like anything.
You're talking
but-
about serious money here.
Well, I think it would take a lot to buy a town. I think it'd take a lot to
Yeah.
buy a bunker.
Yeah.
I mean, I've searched some of these stuff. Well, not buying a town and shit, but
I personally,
it's a lot of money.
I think when
or on the mountainside, it's a lot of money.
I think if you got the opportunity and you're looking to self-sustain, you just kind of see what is the most appealing to yourself, whether it's sticking near where your family and friends are, or bugging out in the middle of nowhere or whatever. You got the money to do it. You could do whatever you want. Like you could take a piece of property, you could carve it into the earth and build up a nice building structure of some sort, engrave it underground, have your bug out zone. And
Yeah.
then get yourself off the grid. Grow what you want.
So what you're saying is I can buy enough property on a mountainside, enough consecutive lots, and carve my face in it, and then I could maybe build a fortress inside of that, dude. That would, dude. I'd be like, I'd have a fucking jet or helicopter that flies through the eyeball of my face on the side of a mountain,
The
dude.
truth is there were heads
that's
carved into mountains, and it was well orchestrated. It's just a lot of pencil pushing to get it done.
I don't think I got enough time left on this
No.
earth to get
Well,
that
no, you never
accomplished.
know, man.
but-
Those things could be taken care of within a matter of 10 years easily.
Well, with the right amount of money.
with the right amount of money.
Right.
A lot of pockets to feed and a lot of pencils to push, a lot of support you got to get. Got to get into politics there if you want your face on the mountain. Or you could just do a plaster on the wall right here. Just start plastering chunks of what your face might
it doesn't
look
have
like.
the same impact, man.
Oh, man. Somebody walks down here and you see Big Dan the Man face on the wall. Boom.
Yeah. Boom. You know where you're at.
Just got to
You're
get some
in-
plaster and some newspaper and
fucking
random materials. and
Mache
just-
that shit.
Ma-
Paper,
paper
mache
mache,
that
yeah.
shit.
That's a...
Fuck, man.
No, I studied...
What, so, sorry, what were you
I was going to say I studied a lot of basically stuff when it comes down to sustainability and, getting off the grid and all that.
What kind of stuff?
Well, there's a thing called the Earthship. That was a pretty cool movement that's still taking place, and People literally go seek consultation by a group of people, and they also help each other build what is off the grid, certain particular format of a home. A lot of times it's in the desert.
This is on Earth.
This is on the Earth, but they call it Earth ship.
Earth ship.
Yeah, because it's essentially you're on
kinda,
on the Earth ship right now.
But it's kind of like community building. So
It's
basically,
a lot of community building.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Dude.
It's a lot of sustainable community building, and the major downside I've only seen about this sort of build was that they always get pushback from the local municipalities about their gray water, black water, brown water systems.
Yeah.
And that's because, it comes down to the last spread of how water's being used from, from the body or from, toiletries or laundry or whatever.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, we've done research where we know that it's good, but the cities don't like that stuff just because it's not their clean standards of code. But
so it's a government thing.
That ends up being a government thing. They usually work around it. They'll instead of tapping it so that it drains in that manner, they restrict it. In a sense, they have to dispose of it properly. Unfortunately, but that's the major downside I saw. Everybody has a great time orchestrating it, coordinating it, building it together. They all support each other. All the materials are usually local, reusing a lot of materials. It's really interesting, and they
Local
make it pretty.
foods and farming.
Well, they
probably,
do
and all
local
that.
farming inside their home. There is a section where it's straight up greenhouse,
Yeah.
and that's where everybody has an issue with the water recycling, because they have this greenhouse, and they have methods of filtering the water and all that, but you still can't fully be that sustainable. You have to still tap in somewhere to dispose of it, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I imagine that's like a kind of a tough obstacle as well, like trying to create that balance. So like there was what was I gonna say? And there's like you have to be if you have ungovernment issued air quotes sort of ways that like the way that the municipalities or the counties or the state might
Whatever
have you whatever jurisdictions or whatever, like there's infrastructure and all that, but if you're like going primitive, there are certain things like you should be so far away from a water source before
I agree with that.
it's typically 100 feet. So if you like go on the Appalachian Trail, we'll say for example, or anywhere in nature, it's usually like you really shouldn't be shitting and creating a hole for your shit within 100 feet of a water source. Just because drainage and seepage and all that and contamination, but
you definitely
which is
don't
good
want
to
to
be
actively
conscious of,
try to
but-
contaminate a water source.
yeah it's like this is our livelihood, but let's make it.
The main problem is people abuse and they're not knowledgeable, so that's where a big problem comes in. But they're we grew up as little creatures into sophisticated human beings, and until we got to technology and modern means of living, that's how we actually actively did. But things have changed now, and we're trying to get back to those roots
Changed
a little bit
a lot,
more.
dude.
Yeah, I would say.
Changed a lot. The amount of time that we were in like our primal ages of like creating fires, hunting our own food, those like primal fucking years. There were so many of them. What is it? Millions of years?
Millions.
Like Cro-Magnon.
Millions of those years.
Like millions. And then we get to a point where like fire, we got wheel, we got certain technologies. And then once technology really, I mean, I would say with the pager, that really like kicked stuff off, man.
Once the pager set things in motion,
yeah, dude, that was it.
Just that.
That was it. When the pager was around, we didn't have cell phones, but they still had the computer at that time that pagers came around was probably the size of like maybe this basement. It's like one computer.
I can
just
definitely understand what you're saying though with that, because it was instantaneous communication from, in a sense, distances. Instead of sending a bird with a little note, now you could beep somebody.
Right, right. Send 8008 5.
911 guy. 911.
You sent boobs.
Boobs.
Like boobs.
That was the first texting.
Yeah, yeah. It's like 911. I'm like, fuck you, man. I'm at home. I'm
That's-
eating pizza. I just got home from school. Somebody wants an eighth, and I'm like, Jesus.
That definitely sounds like a retro technology that should come back.
Yeah.
Just like the cassettes, those tape cassettes are a very interesting thing. Bring back pagers, man. You just look at your device because you're paging your friend.
Dude, but now, all right, so should we revert back to like the old school technology? So take away it's illegal to own a cell phone. All the cell phones are not only tracked, but they're removed from your possession. So this is dystopian, right?
Dystopian.
This is like our dystopian future flashback to the fucking reverting back to the past. All phones are fucking removed. All you have are pagers, and you got no payphones.
Do you also?
You got no payphones. You can't call anybody back.
Oh well, you just continuously beep people, huh?
Yeah,
But
it's
does
like
that mean-
911. Why aren't you answering my call? I'm like, I'm rushing for. I can't find a fucking phone.
I can't find that payphone.
You go into establishments, it becomes such a problem. They're like, no phone for you. Unless you buy a $7 Starbucks, venti. And then
So
they're
you
like,
think-
okay, we could let you use the phone.
think
But
they would
now
have, like, a
that
bank
phone
of
call,
phones?
now that phone call costs you $8. What the fuck is that?
Well, I think it wouldn't be bad to have a break.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there are simple phones out there that limit the apps that are allowed on the phone, so you can get like,
interesting.
you know what I mean? And that is kind of good. Because it is an impulse. It becomes like second nature. It's an impulse. It becomes somewhat addictive, even for myself and certain things. You know what I mean?
It's definitely
Checking stuff.
addictive. It's too addictive.
It's definitely addictive.
You end up pulling
if-
your phone in front of your face instead of just spending time with somebody, and it's like, do I actually want to play Clash of Clans right now? Not really, but there's my excuse. I'm just blawing right now. Whatever.
It's an escape.
It's an escape.
It's boredom.
Wind
It's
down.
addictive.
Yeah. You get the serotonin released just by popping on that game.
Little fucking bleep, bleep, bleep. It's like being at the casino. You're pulling that.
Yeah, that's true. I
You
never
know,
thought of it really like that.
It's like, well, that's part of the reason. Like, it's part of the experience, and that it's almost like smoking. You got the physical aspect of it, different addictive parts of it, but the excitement.
That's what
That's
it is.
what, when you
the
win,
excitement
it's the
releases the
excitement.
endorphins and
Boo, boo,
the
boo, boo,
serotonin,
boo.
whatever.
Lights,
And
sounds,
Yep.
overstimuli, bro.
exactly. Next thing you know, that's kind of what you're craving to
You,
just
you
process
want more.
time.
You want more.
It's a means of passing time through those continuous beeps. It's markers, actual ticks of time.
It's worthless.
It's so little value.
Yeah, in consideration of like how little time we actually have, it's inconsequential. It's worthless.
That's why you
But that's where society is. You know what I mean? That's where we're at. We're almost like it's like little baby steps, and it started with a fucking pager. That was the height of it, man. I will say that. And then it's like baby steps. Well, now you got a phone, but you got a fucking crazy BlackBerry keyboard. It's still difficult.
Those
You
were
still
cool.
got to
I really
punch
like
the
that.
number twice in order to get.
I had the BlackBerry.
K.
I liked the keyboard. I liked all that shit. It was cool.
and it was limited.
And then you had the internet interface on it too, if you wanted. You could pop on a quick web browser and shit on.
Was
that.
it primarily text though? There wasn't like.
No, it was.
No, you can use Facebook on that.
You could do a couple things on there. It's pretty interesting enough. Because essentially it was like a little miniature computer.
That was the
time.
beginning
Before
of
they
it,
had
right?
touchscreen, man.
Yeah, before
Yeah, it was
touchscreen.
analog. Push the button.
Right. Right.
I think the BlackBerry was
Had
a
little
pretty
up
good
and-
stepping
it had
stone.
arrows to scroll around.
It was a milestone. It didn't like last long before the actual
No.
like what you're saying, the evolution of the
They changed it
touchscreen
quick.
phone and
Yep.
the apps and dude, that happened so quick.
Yeah.
The compound
It was
fucking speed that the technology develops is crazy. It's exponential, dude. It's
was-
compounded exponential increase in evolution of technology.
Part of it
It's
was that iPod that popped up. As soon as that iPod popped up, and it all just started coming fully together.
So you're saying not the pager, but the iPod was
No,
the
I'm
catalyst.
saying that the catalyst was the
Pager.
buildup. But you're right. The pager was a really good, thing that started the fire. That really brought it back in motion.
It was probably the telegraph machine, dude.
Telegraph,
I was
that
just
was
thinking
so
that.
slow though.
Well,
I was
that's
ju-
how it started.
You're idling, and then yeah, sure, and then you start popping up on your
Before that, you
exponential
wrote a
rate.
Frickin' letter, dude.
Have you guys seen
By hand.
the new Sherlock Holmes movie with Will Ferrell and what's his name?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh, they
I don't
They
think I've seen
do.
it.
they do pretty funny stuff on there. I'm not gonna spoil it. Actually, I'm not gonna announce what the heck happened
Yeah.
on the movie. You just
Spoiler
gotta see-
alert.
Spoiler alert! You just got to see it. It
Yeah.
has to do with the telegraph, and it was funny as shit. Like you'll be giggling.
Well, and I don't think you're wrong there, right? But check this out. So, in considering this, was it Alexander Graham Bell, right, that had the telegraph, or supposedly patented and or invented the telegraph, and then you have
supposedly.
like the telegraph, and then that evolved to the phone. So it was not just a beep 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 like signal transmission, but then it turned into like voice transmission.
Yeah, voice frequencies.
What do you think the delay? I'm not gonna get off on a tangent, but the delay on that was probably ridiculous. It's like you gotta, hey, how you doing? 3 minutes later, it's like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. And then 3 minutes later, I'm doing good. No.
Yeah, it's true.
But
I think it was pretty good.
But check it out. And then there has been evolutions within that time. So the telephone invention then evolved into, dude, normally they had to like plug it in. There was like different things. And then we had the
Switchboards.
rotary and yeah, the switchboards, exactly. And then the rotary. And then we had the fucking dial tone, just regular boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. But how long did that take? You know what I mean? When was the phone invented?
Just a matter of putting
then
in
it
all
was
the
like-
infrastructure
that's
and then
like
tweaking technology until it suits your needs of improvement.
So check it out. Maybe it's like 50. Sorry to. I'm actually mind blown because this has brought me to
A lot
space
of
and
it had
thinking
to do
about
with
this.
infrastructure, though. They had to implement the actual infrastructure of the wires, essentially crossing across America. That's they
That
had
i-
to put miles and miles, and that's
That-
what we're doing right now.
That
with,
is
with where
that
I'm
is
working.
true. But you know when you didn't need that was the pager. So if you have 50
You
years,
do need that though, because the wireless signals have to still be connected from tower to tower. It still
it's
connects.
a buildup of
You go
okay,
from
so
you go
there's
from like a tower, and then you bring it to the hub.
1876. The phone was in
invented by Alexander Graham Bell.
1876.
The method.
And then when
Just
was the pager invented? Right? So it was 100 years. Dude,
Yep.
the pager wasn't invented until like what? It had to be late
got your-
70s, 80s.
You're slow, gradual, and then
Boop.
exponential.
Boop. And then you have internet. And then there's like continual. So the actual trajectory is like it's almost like Biden winning the election, You're at a certain point and boop.
Yeah.
And then it's a boop.
It's the catalyst.
It just keeps exponentially increasing.
That's
It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy, and
It's-
we're at like a really burning point of all of it. Like it's still gonna burst and explode over us past our lifetimes, because it's an exponential growth of how this technology is.
right.
It was 150 years.
Eventually,
Yeah, dude, that's a long difference
46 years
from the pager to the phone, or
from today to when they invented the phone.
oh, yeah, dude. I always feel like, not to go off on a tangent, but I always feel like I was like born to live in a
But-
more primitive, like not in this time. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like in a different, simpler time. Like I'm almost like a, when people say like,
People
I
almost
feel
can't
like
handle
I'm an old soul. What?
people almost can't handle it.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
just-
too
it's-
much, dude. I don't.
It's a lot.
Dude, think about this, man. There's a million years, and people. You said like in the beginning it was cavemen just hunting for food by hand.
Yeah.
Well, and then it took like millennia to like huge amounts of time till they invented the first wheel, right?
Yeah.
Well, think about it, from 150 years ago, they invented it was just bleep, bloop, bleep, bleep, deep, deep Morse code.
Yeah, tapping up the
Then
code.
they figure out how to shoot your voice across the country. And then from 150 years ago, now you can wirelessly access people from around the world in a second.
Not only that, Jetson shit.
Yeah,
Like Dick
from
Tracy,
a watch, man.
Dick
from
Tracy
a fucking watch.
shit. Jetsons video, like Facebook Messenger,
Yeah.
whatever fucking video you
Future's
might
now,
use.
dude.
Video chat,
Features
dude.
now.
The future is now. But where does it go? So where does it go from now? If we're on a continual,
Rate of growth?
increase of
Who knows?
trajectoral compound
The
trajectory.
only way you could really fathom that is if you start inventing yourself.
Yeah.
You-
Start inventing
Your
yourself.
interface is in your brains, dude.
Yeah.
And you can just talk to each other telepathically.
Well, that's
That's
kind of
what's
like
next,
what
man. That's what's
well,
next.
that's like the Neuralink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
end up becoming a very acceptable means of living life.
Nah, dude.
Even though
Just sit
it's
there like
which
this.
which is weird, you're gonna become a cyber freak.
Yeah. No, I'm
Get HJs, dude.
no.
Telepath-
you just fucking sit back and get those HJs
the love
mentally.
box.
It's just a mental beep bop boop. So it's like the same thing. Dude, we're back to Morse code, only now it's hitting certain parts of your brain. It's a beep bop boop in your goddamn brain.
Dude, it'll
Oh
be-
my god, dude. That is crazy.
Dude, it'll be like computer generated. But
It'll
so
be all
realistic.
cyberpunk.
It won't even be a real person, dude. You can just hook up and play these video
Oh
games.
my
where they
God.
Give you an
Well,
HJ.
what,
And
you-
she looks realistic in your brain.
Yeah, but now what do you need, a haptic like dick suit that you just fucking strap
No,
on? Because
you
there's
probably,
got
you probably still
Dude,
gotta touch yourself.
you're just through the brain. You're
Yeah.
you're knocked out. You're just getting brain stimulated
I don't
by
think
this
you need it.
virtual
it happens 'cause they're doing
HJ.
it- Yeah, neural HJ.
Oh my
dude.
god, dude, we are lab rats. We're fucking lab rats, dude. No, not that one.
How is this thing?
It's good. It's 8%.
Delicious. Yeah, it's delicious.
No, that was the Mike's Harder he picked up. He's like,
Oh.
how is it? Not that one.
Oh,
You can't drink that one.
But no, dude, it's fucking. I love this conversation. Actually, dude, I haven't
I
done
wish
any.
there was another mic now.
I know. I do.
You
I'm.
can take my spot for a while if you want.
Oh,
If you want, dude, you can jump on there.
all right, dude.
Take it over, man.
All right.
I need the
But yeah, the fucking dude. It's
random motherfucker.
throw those headphones on to get the full podcast studio experience.
Random dude just showed up.
Beep boop bop.
Beep 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 beep. Oh
Fucking
man.
dude, yeah, I don't know where we go. There's a lot of like, so I think, so if you consider the exponential growth, right, from the beep boop bop until the phone, until from the phone to the pager and all those milestones, right? In considering that, I would have to say, I think we're going to get to a point where it's some sort of AI or algorithm, a combination of all the tech that we've been building up, but there's going to be a point where it starts moving so fast we can't control it.
Oh, I
You know what I
believe
mean?
that. I believe that. I think we're on the way there now.
We're
Yeah.
on the path.
Yeah.
There's a lot of instances that people can't control it regardless.
No.
We don't understand fully what we're doing.
No, but when you have a responsibility, when you get in so deep, there becomes a point where it's like, okay, this is starting to maybe get dangerous.
Yeah.
This is starting to maybe we should pull back the reins, but I don't think humanity in itself has the nature to think that way. They're like, let's keep going, advance, progress. You know what I mean? Keep moving forward. So there is no pulling back. And then it gets to a point where it then becomes uncontrollable. And it's like, what the fuck did we do? No, it's because humanity is what you did. Your human nature is what you fucking did. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
what'll happen, man? We'll get to a point where it's too much, and then it'll be time to pull the plug. And then
No,
what'll
there's
be
there's almost a concept, sorry to interrupt, but there's almost a concept of people saying, like, by the time we realize we need to pull the plug, it's already done enough. It's intelligent enough to figure out its way to continue even thereafter.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? I mean, the concept is
I don't know.
surreal, dude.
I think what'll happen will be like there was a time in America where everybody was drinking too much alcohol, and then they pushed for sobriety, and they made all the prohibition, right?
Right.
They caused all this. The reason they cut off alcohol is there was a lot of people complaining that there was too many drunk people,
Yeah.
and so I think what
Town drunk, the town fool.
Well, people were waking up. Well, back then things were a lot different. Like the water wasn't
That's
as
way
good.
different, dude.
Yeah, it was way different.
If you could get water, dude, that's like the Tawadi's, man.
And it was easier to get alcohol. And then people were working these terrible factory jobs and stuff, man. So they were just getting drunk, and it was really cheap. But anyways, what's going to happen is that same type of like prohibition mentality where society is going to. I think what'll happen is people will get upset and they're going to want to pull the plug, and then they'll start ramping up for all this analog stuff, dude. But it could be the opposite, man. It could be like you're saying. It'll be too late.
I don't think it. Okay, and maybe correct me or elaborate if I'm incorrect, but I don't think it's the people that are gonna pull. I think the people might want to pull the plug, but the people, the way that I see it, like don't have the capability to actually pull the plug. It's like beyond them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already a system that's set in motion. There's so many things that we could tangent off to, but I'm just trying to like keep it cool. I don't know. Maybe they just. Maybe.
I think it's time for a break, dude.
I think we need. I think what the world needs is like we all need to. So it's not like I got an Oculus over there, right? Virtual reality. Maybe that when we come back, we're gonna take a pause. Maybe we come back, we talk about a little bit about virtual reality because I know you got something. I don't know if you've tried it, whatever, but it's pretty.
Yeah, once.
All right, so we'll be back. I forgot what I was gonna say something else, but bleep bloop blop. All right, back for a break, and we were talking about just before break the Oculus, the different technologies, exponential growth, all that good stuff. So we got a story. We got some.
One of the best technologies that's come out is the virtual reality, which is going to change a lot of things. That's going to lead to that exponential growth. But the virtual reality right now is an awesome technology that's easily accessible by everybody.
It is. Yeah, dude, for way cheaper cost than, like, that's why I bought it. I'm like, this is super affordable. Not only is it affordable, so what was the first game that you tried?
The first game I played was it was Gorilla Tag. So you're in.
Oh,
this...
that's like that's like a free game, basic. That's not
the
even.
Graphics aren't even good, dude.
Yeah.
What about Tail of the Sun?
No, they don't have that on there yet. That's a badass game. I love that game. I invented a game. I have like it all written down, dude. A game that is based off of Tale of the Sun that I really wish I could put into
production.
Yeah,
fucking
make it. Yeah, that's
that
really
shit.
like my goal, man. I want to make enough money where I can produce a game, dude.
That'd be
I really,
fucking awesome.
yeah, I have this awesome game based on. Well, if anyone doesn't know, Tale of the Sun was it was a Sony PlayStation 1 game, and you're based off as this like really rudimentary caveman, and you're thrown on the planet, and like they have a map, and it's just a straight Pangea. It's just one big continent, and you're thrown on the map.
Vaguely remember this, but yeah.
You go on there, man, and then you start out as one caveman, and you just go around and you try to kill animals with your fists. You start out with fists, and then you get a tree branch. It's super rudimentary though, man. You run into a tree, and then you get a branch, and then you beat animals and eat them. and then your population starts to grow,
Yeah.
right?
Build your tribe.
Yeah, your tribe starts to grow, and then it starts growing on its own. And every time you die in the game, another tribes member comes up and takes your place, dude. And then the whole point of the game is, dude, you're supposed to keep running around the earth until you find all these components to build your way up to this tower to touch the tail of the sun.
Wow.
Was that I'm sorry, computer game or was that?
It was Sony PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay.
So I've played that game, man, and it's super fun and it's super easy. And
Yeah.
It's just a really cool concept. And then I thought about how do you make that game for a modern day?
Yeah. They have one. It's called like Hell VR. So have you seen it for
No.
Oculus?
No.
Dude,
Oh.
it's
dude.
a VR. You gotta run through the fucking forest. You gotta
Oh.
hunt the meat. You gotta build the fires. You gotta do
Oh.
certain things to like build weapons. You gotta collect materials.
That's the whole game I was just talking about.
They have it in VR, dude.
Wow.
They have it.
Wow.
If the
Wow.
Oculus, I think in particular has, I think it's called Hell, just Hell VR.
Wow.
There's virtual reality where you need, dude. There was a very recent podcast that Joe Rogan did with Mark Zuckerberg. Very fucking interesting. It's like boring as shit,
No.
kind of interesting, but
I don't know if I want to listen. Is Mark Zuckerberg interesting to listen to at all?
no, he's a fucking no, he's not.
No.
And I'm not a big fan, but oh, excuse me. Where was I going with that? So the VR technology, right? You got to put the fucking headset on. Sorry for the F-bombs, everybody. I'm just like talking to a friend here. I forget
dropped
that
a
it's
couple,
recording. No, and it's fine. I'm not gonna bleep them out or nothing like that. But I try to like steer away from that. But anyways, like the VR headset, right? You got to put it on, and like, dude, once you put that thing on,
you're
and
transported, man.
You're transported to
Oh,
a whole
instantly.
nother world.
Just the lobby's sweet, dude. You can change where the lobby's at too, man. Like you can go like into like this tropical zone in this like
Mountains.
mountains. That's the one I got set on. I love that one.
Yeah.
There's a beach one, dude. I haven't even tried
like
them all.
the-
There's a bunch of different options though. You can set up this whole room. Once
Yeah.
you're in that room though, man, you're already zoning into this other world
Right.
that's not even real.
Right,
It's
right.
crazy, but you're immersed.
Right. And your brain perceives it in a way that it can feel real.
Oh yeah.
You know, to a certain extent, because you got graphics, you got pixels, there's polygons.
Well, I don't know. I know, like when you get off, dude. If you've been on that thing for like an hour
Yeah.
and then you get off, it takes a minute to
To like recalibrate.
readjust to
Yeah.
reality. You're like, oh man, like what?
Well, check it out,
It
dude.
does take
So-
a minute.
It does. It does. And yeah, for the ape tag to be the first game, like that's maybe not a great
It was
experience.
terrible.
So the first game that I played, dude, was the virtual reality roller coaster. It's not roller coaster tycoon, but it's like just a roller
Oh.
coaster fucking game. You
That's
know,
pretty
I'm not
cool.
building a roller coaster theme park, but I'm going through a roller coaster and I'm
Oh.
shooting. You're able to have to like, do you want
Oh.
targets or no targets?
Oh.
And then you're like, I want targets. And then you pick your weapon. It's like, okay, well, your basic level, and you're going through, and you're just like, you can slow down the roller coaster and shit.
Oh,
But I was like,
dude.
I felt sick the first time. I felt
Oh.
sick. I went through one roller coaster. When I was done with the roller coaster, I took the thing off, and I legit had to like try to just like focus on my ground. I was a little dizzy. There's a little bit of fucking weirdness going on, but you got the virtual reality. We just talked about all
Yeah.
that, and then there's another direction that it can go, which is more of like an augmented reality, and I think that's why I bring up the podcast,
Oh yeah.
because Zuckerberg was talking about a form of like glasses. So the
Oh.
technology of glasses to project an augmented
so-
reality experience.
Instead of
I-
this big headset that you wear now, it just shoots it right out in. There's no more virtual reality. It's augmented reality. All the same stuff so you'd be living in a video game, man. You'd have a heads-up display. It'd show your virtual wallet over here with your cash.
It'd be hologram.
And all these
like,
options. There'll be ads running on the side, dude. It'll be Facebook Live, dude.
Yeah.
On the street.
Yeah. So if we're looking at our phones all the time, like maybe that's the next.
That might be pretty awesome.
Dude, I'm not denying that, technology isn't a good thing because I do think it is. It advances humanity. It advances our time span that we have on this beautiful earth. It does a lot of things that are good, but it can be, is it detriment to society?
Well, this is like what I was trying to talk about earlier, man, was that, so I have a background where I make art, and I create, and I make things for interior spaces, and I do a lot of regular paint jobs, all that. I go into people's homes, and I do really fun, cool stuff, and I'm in the home, like, design industry, right? And so that's what I do now. I do it all by hand. I go in there, bring in tools, and you do it, and you make someone's house look good, right? Well, in the future, because of all this augmented reality and virtual reality, my job will be obsolete because you don't go to somebody's house for any event. You know where you go? To their virtual house. And so now you just buy upgrades and put paint jobs and put on your wall. It's all just whatever the latest design fad is, and you pay for it. A la carte. It's probably super cheap too, man. It's probably like $10, and you get new wallpaper. Just
think about it.
You're like, this would look badass. $10, man. That's all. $10. I got that.
Yeah. The celebrities made their spaces.
People can live in this little crappy trailer, just like how player number one. What was that? Player one.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. Same thing. They're just living in these crappy trailers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you live there because no one comes over. No one's coming to your house. You're just like in a pod, dude. It has like a toilet and a fridge and a microwave.
Yeah.
That's how you go to work. That's the future of virtual reality, man.
It is. I mean, and
I do like the idea of the augmented, though. I like that where you put the glasses on and it's just happening in live.
Yeah.
And, dude, there'll be, like, virtual reality people that come and talk to you, dude. Like, you can go Skype through your avatar, man, and it just shows up to you at the Starbucks, dude. I can't even. On your augment.
Yeah, but.
You're having a full meeting with no one sitting there, dude.
I'm losing my mind just in you saying this.
Dude.
So I want to bring it back to, like you said, eventually, if everything is kind of in that virtual world, so who's operating businesses? You said it would put you out of business. You're like, people are investing in these other things rather than investing in the real life experience.
Yeah.
Okay, that is one thing.
Yeah.
Another thing is where technology gains to a point, like if there was automated freight trucking systems, like driverless trucking companies, how many drivers does that put out of business? Okay, if there's robots and the actual franchises, and the franchises
happening.
Are like, dude,
it's already happened. Cars can already drive themselves, man. It's just not legal for it yet, dude.
Yeah, but to a point where it becomes a thing and companies invest in it and it puts the drivers out of business. Look, there's no better investment than equipment, because that equipment, this little thing right here that you're seeing, this little vinyl cutter cost me like $1,200. Maybe it was like $1,500.
But it paid for itself in like 3 months, man.
Dude, I've had this thing for like 8 years.
Yeah, and it's still doing the same job. And it's making you money, man.
Dude, there's no better investment than there is in equipment. So if if you're a fast food, say I'm a Culver's, and it's like I can buy a Fry computer robotronic
Yeah, it takes
arm.
a potato, shoots it in there.
It's already hooked up to the system.
All you need is a guy loading the potatoes, dude. You just need a potato loader.
Like, if I were Culver's, that is the future. And if I were Culver's, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to invest in this equipment. Because, like, this return on investment, I pay it one time. Sure, there's going to be maintenance, this, that.
Yeah, but there's no insurance.
Dude,
I mean, there's no
and
health
then what?
care. There's no health care plan.
There's no health care. Yeah.
No drama.
No, it's
when
a
the guy wants a raise.
The health care plan is the goddamn warranty. You want an extended warranty on this robotronic arm?
Yeah, but then what are humans gonna do, man? They still need a job, man. Everybody still needs a job. No,
Dude,
man.
it's-
They're gonna
so
make
then-
cars. They're gonna make cars.
So we have displacement of jobs, and not within one industry, not within two industries. We're talking like across the board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So displacements of jobs equates to displacement of income and displacement of just people being able to provide. There's
Yeah.
scarcity now. Okay? So now that there's scarcity, what happens
man.
now? What do you do when there's scarcity? There's now the government
Revolt.
have to step in, and the government has to say, this is what's going to happen. All right? This is a prediction.
Oh, you want one?
This is a prediction, but I think that then it brings a point where it's perfect conditions for the government to step in and say, look, we're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
Now you're
Well,
relying
they're trying to do it now.
Now you're relying on the government.
They're
I'm-
trying to do that now.
Dude, it's happening in small
now.
little sections, but in totality, by the time we get to a point, it's like AI technology. It moves so fast, right? This is a slow process, but by the time it gets to a point, there's nothing we can do about it.
No.
AI technology, it would move, in my eyes, I think it would move so fast, there's nothing we can do about it.
No.
This is a slow, these are lobsters boiling in a pot with slowly increased temperature, bro. We are the lobster.
Dude, this is a badass painting.
It is.
That's a fucking sick.
Do you know that that guy, oh man, Brian Lemire or whatever his name is, he directed the Skeleton of Cadavra. Look that up, dude. Look up the Skeleton of Cadavra movie. He was a director. He's a filmmaker. He has a lot of like steampunk paintings, but that one just spoke to me, dude. I paid $175 for that little painting right there.
Oh,
I would have
dude.
taken that painting. It's a badass painting.
It's fucking awesome. I look at it and I see a bunch of things going on all at the same time. It's like a surrealistic piece, and I think that's how he named it.
That's a very inspirational painting that you have, Dan.
It is. You
It
like that?
inspires me to get back to some of the roots I used to do.
Yeah.
Just abstract, but keep it to some sort of vague atmosphere.
I think the best outcomes of art that you are trying to produce almost comes out in like a fluid motion. You know what I mean? If you have to think too much about it, if
Yeah.
you got to overwork certain areas in artwork, then it becomes like a muddy, confused. There's like the most fluid, the best art is when you're like, oh, like Happy Little Mistakes.
Yeah,
Like Bob
that's
Ross style, dude, is the Happy Little Mistakes.
You gotta have yourself loose and available for technical application of whatever medium you got.
Yeah.
Just gotta have the skill to let it go.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's definitely when you do with an abstract motion, you definitely let it go and you still have that control. You just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like about the abstract shit. One of my favorite art projects, it was a watercolor where you had some hot press board or whatever, the cold press board, and you put on the watercolor. Maybe you spray some water and it like drips down, but it creates these organic shapes. And it's like, and then you, like whatever you see, whatever it is, it's the most free form of art because it's like organic things that are happening. Right?
I
And
did
then
a
it
lot of the-
creates a foundation and you might see something within that. Sorry to.
I did a lot of like that type of technique when I was actually living nearby where we're at now. In the studio that I was working in there, I did these on these Chicago skylines, but I used like a watercolor technique of letting it drip down, and it was on a piece of wooden plywood panel.
Yeah,
And
I remember
it
those
just did
actually.
cool stuff doing that stuff. You know, it's a different medium that accepts, cool flow of just releasing, let it put on there and let it do its thing, let gravity take a hold. But the
And then it's like pulling something out of that, like creating, making a
Continually work it.
creation, like, yeah.
work it and work it and work it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the main way of your execution is to develop it into something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting up and do it.
man.
You can do it. You got
do it.
time. I'll harass you
It's your
next time I open
paradigm,
up
bro.
my
You gotta
drawing
change your
pad.
paradigm, dude. Just
What's
think
that?
You gotta change your paradigm, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta think of your reality as a little bit different, dude.
Yeah.
You think of it as you have all these stresses, but you really don't. That's how you gotta change it. That's how I get through
I
it.
know. Well, there's not, I won't say I know like I know it all, but that does make sense for one. And then two, I kind of started to do that. So I'm starting to think of the traveling more.
Yeah.
And
That's
the,
cool.
the only thing with the traveling that I thought
Can
of
you
in,
incorporate traveling with your business?
no, but I just recently figured it out
Oh.
better.
You gotta work for a production company, dude. As
No.
a vinyl guy, and they'll send you all over the place.
No, I think I can do it myself, just with my wrap truck. A smart way to do it, trying to figure out the most economical, avenue, whether I got to stay like 2 weeks or a month in a different area.
Go to a different area, camp out.
Not even camp out,
Well,
dude. Like
Wasn't
like
the last
Airbnb,
account you had-
dude.
Wasn't the last account you had was like a corporate account where they were nationwide bringing you buses to wrap? Can't you just go to wherever the buses are at?
No, they come to me. I got
Yeah,
like
that's what
8
I'm
different
saying.
locations,
But
and
can't you bill them to go instead of them bringing you the bus? You go. To
oh,
the
maybe,
bus?
maybe,
make
but
it
I
a
don't want to do
traveling
that.
job.
I'd like to. I got the Illinois location locked
Yes.
down, so the other states like they're working on it. Like, I'm cool with that.
I'm just trying to figure out
these-
how you can incorporate travel with
Yeah.
your business, dude.
That's I
Yeah,
see what
well-
exactly you're saying.
Well, the way that I would do that is, say, I went to Nashville, for example, and I set up an Airbnb that was very reasonable. It's within driving distance. It might not be like super downtown or nothing
10
like that.
hours. 10 hours back here.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's one day,
nothing.
dude.
It's not
It's like 7, 8 hours, I think. I know, but use my truck as
Yeah.
advertisements to also get wraps. And not only that, dude, I have my business. So while I'm there for a month,
You gotta
I'm like,
upgrade
well,
your
I'm
truck.
out of town, so I just schedule and I manage the work that I get from my own business.
You need a tits truck, dude.
I know. I
You
know.
need to get like some badass.
You need a microphone is what you need.
You want this spot back, bro?
No.
Yeah,
No.
because look at the different levels. This is what people hear,
Usually, using the travel method with your work is a cool idea because you do get to experience outside of where you're at. You get to kind of break your boundaries a little bit and see,
Well,
the area.
the only other option that I had was a huge super move, which was selling my house,
Yeah,
like getting
full
rid of
on.
like all fucking
Yeah.
everything. You
don't
know what
wanna
I
do that.
mean?
You don't need
And
to- you don't
fucking
wanna do that, dude.
selling my house, and then I'd have enough money to finance the extra money to get a truck, get a travel trailer, like scratch that.
You don't want to lose your house, though, dude.
I
Yeah, you
know.
want
So
this
I'm
as your
trying to come
station
up with
point,
like that's the new plan, to try and come up with a new way to travel. So I
What
think,
about tossing the cap on your truck or something like that and converting it?
yeah, I've thought about that.
That would probably be a lot less of an investment.
Just put a bed in there.
Or a cap, right?
Just a cap.
Yeah.
A cap.
Yeah,
Just cap it.
it'd be.
It
That'd be
looks smoother
Dude,
too.
They make them. They make them for your truck, no problem.
I know. I looked into it. It was
I
like
bet they're like $300.
$1,000.
They're sick
No,
deals.
1,000 for like
Oh.
everything, dude.
Oh. Alright.
Conversions to your work
very
truck is pretty
solid.
awesome. Even with the construction means of conversion.
I need
you're
new
back-
tires. It's like $400.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not too bad.
It lasts a long time.
Yeah.
So would a fucking cap.
Yeah. Well,
Cap is lifetime.
good point. Good point.
You
So
wrap
always
that thing.
Always investing in equipment, dude.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. And then you got those robot arms making your French fries.
If you could get those robot arms to work for you, you gotta go for it.
Dude, if I could
Plug 'em
buy
in.
robot arms to wrap a vehicle,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I need a loan. I'd sell my house and I'd get robot arms to wrap vehicles, dude.
You'd have to
I'd get
attach those
16 robot arms.
You'd have to attach those robot arms to like robot mechanics, so you have these companions that you put personalities into. You know, they're these zany robots that you work with all the time.
That's why I gotta push my kids into some kind
No, I just hit a button, dude. I don't give a fuck. They're not. They don't have to be zany. They don't gotta be telling jokes. I just hit a button. I'm like, do what you're fucking programmed to do. You just hit the button, dude. And then they go to work and they make you money, and like that's investing in equipment. It's a good thing, dude. There's only a matter of time. So we're gonna end up with a universal basic income, right? Stimulus. And where does that come
It's
from?
an idea.
You will own nothing and you will be happy is another part of it. Potentially eat bugs. You'll be in a system where it's like things are provided for you at a minimal thing. You're riding around like what do you call that? That little cartoon and then little scooter. Herbie. Herbert? Who the fuck is that little dude?
Oh, what are you talking about?
Dude, that little Disney movie, that guy that is just hovering around, that's our future.
Talking about Wally?
Wally! That's it. Jesus. Thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about.
It's a reality. That's not made up bullshit.
Everybody's hovering around. I've never even seen that shit.
The movie?
Yeah.
They have a pretty
It's a good movie.
interesting idea of the dystopian future. Only
Yeah.
they're space style and overweight.
Did you ever see, so dystopian future, there's a few different Netflix series. So there's like Love, Death, and Robots,
I watched some of that.
which is like primarily automated, I think, or animation rather.
Yeah,
all
it's some
animation.
form of animation.
This is crazy.
They all vary though.
And then Black Mirror, dude. It's been out for a while. There's no spoilers here, but super dystopian, dude.
That's the whole idea with the eyeglasses, dude. They put the microchip in their eye,
Yeah.
and they see augmented reality.
Right?
Wow.
And then there's also the
they
social.
modify soldiers to do it, dude. There's all kinds of crazy shit on that show, man.
There is, but that's when technology exponentially advances, just increases in
You're just in the next level.
growth. Dude, it's before you even know it. And then all of a sudden it's here. And then, like, you can't put that shit back in the bottle.
No,
You know what I mean? It's like that shit is
it's
out
always-
there.
Yep. It's its own thing.
And then, so what if it comes to a point where it's like, Jason, we got everybody's doing this implant, and people are getting jobs. The only people that are getting jobs are the ones that have the implant. We have recognized that you do not have the implant as of yet. So we think it's a good move. What do you say? Would you be willing
It
to get
depends
the
on
implant?
what this implant is.
Yeah. Well, you could talk to people without talking to them, for one. Yeah, you're more likely to get a job. Your social credit score will increase by 5%. And, we're going to increase your universal basic income by $200. What do you say? Per month.
What's
Per
the
month.
rate of cyber shock and cyber psychosis? What's the rate of that?
Well, you have to look into the terms and conditions, but if we don't like what you're doing socially and we are tracking everything through this device, then we can ultimately just cut off all your funds in any banking system because everything is connected. We can block out people that we deem unfit for you to talk to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, though?
That's what's happening.
I mean, that's ultimately like that's where it's gonna go, dude. It's sad. It sucks. It's sad. It's
Content control.
So what do you do while you're here? And this is maybe we'll end it with this because are you cool with that?
That's cool. Yeah.
Like an hour and 15 minutes in, whatever it ends up being. But ultimately, right? So what do you do with that? With everything externally that's going around outside of, and we're talking dystopian. We're talking
I'll
like
tell you what
farther
we do
into the
about that.
future. This isn't what's
You're
going
trying to
on.
build the mountain face with your eyeball for the fucking helicopter to fly into, dude.
The
You know,
fucking.
that's
What
the
you do
fucking
is-
helipad
Yeah,
eyeball.
fuck it,
It's
man.
fucking landing
Fuck it,
gear.
Yeah, fuck it. Like,
What
All
you
you
do
gotta
is
do
you
is try to
You
go
unplug.
land on the eyelash. You're
All you
like,
gotta do is go for glory and hope that it doesn't happen in your lifetime.
Just-
and feel
and-
bad for your kids.
that's where I was kind of going with that. You just have to fucking try to make it work for yourself and your
Yep.
family the best possible. That's the only thing I can come up with. Did you have, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say the thing that you do is just unplug.
That's actually another, but then you're out of society. You're no
That's
longer a
totally
part of
cool.
society.
You could survive
You
without
need-
being a
You
part of a
need
society.
to survive, dude.
You could be away from that
You
society.
need money for that.
Yeah, how are you going to get money when you're not a part of society?
If the society's become
Even if
that
you
bad,
buy land-
There's no cash. You need to be indoctrinated into the
Alright, so
social credit
listen.
system in order for you to make money and spend money. And
Even
if you don't
you went and bought some land off in Tennessee somewhere and started sustenance farming, they're gonna tax you on the fucking land. And how are you gonna pay that tax?
that's true.
when you can't
gotta
make
be-
any money,
That's
They're
when
gonna
there's
tax you on it, you
when there's
gotta still
complete
pay.
control going on.
And if you don't pay, you know what happens? The IRS comes and takes your shit, dude, and then you're fucking homeless, dude. And you're not even crazy. You just try to sustenance farm your life away.
Just
It's
gotta
a-
farm for sustenance.
well, I hate to end it on a dystopian, futuristic sort of viewpoint of society. We haven't even got into farming, mass farming, global warming, fucking electricity shortages. Like,
New diseases.
oh, there's so much more adventure that we can just talk about.
Reaching
so.
the stars, dude.
Well, we'll end it here, and thank you very much.
Thanks for
is,
having.
is there anything you'd like to promote, say?
I'd say do your own and do it the best you can.
I think that's good words. What about you, Vince?
Okay.
He's got nothing. He's just
depressed.
I'm
Really
sorry.
depressed.
Depressed about how
Yeah.
he's depressed about how this dystopian
Yeah.
future has progressed.
This fucking world just
There's
crumbled
chaos
down.
going on.
All right,
out
we
there.
gotta give this guy therapy.
Just kidding. He's fine. But it is. Yeah, I don't mean to be all doom and gloom, but it was fun talking, dude. I hope to do many more of these podcasts. You guys have been awesome to talk to, so always more than welcome to come back, and I hope that you do.
Thanks for having me, bro.